feel like Davinci is a trend.
Oh,
Yes.
Davinci is trash. Everyone who edits in Davinci is trash.
What was happening before Davinci?
You know, when you made that pivot, there wasn't any jobs, there wasn't any money coming in.
Everybody just want to work. Everybody just want to be seen. But I actually got kicked out of the college in engineering. I even got all my equipment stolen, and it changed my life. You can have the best work, but if you have the worst personality, it does not matter.
I understand more and more why you're so successful. Really excited for today's show because, as I mentioned to you guys before, we have Miss Brittany Janae here today. And for those of you guys who don't know who she is, first off, she's just an amazing person. I got a chance to meet her in person just a few months ago at the Sony Condo trip. But before that, it's really funny. Brittany actually won one of my very first giveaways I ever did on the channel. And she, since then, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago, she won. She entered by submitting her demo reel. And like, I mean, in our video, we were like, oh, it's really close. It really wasn't that close. Like, she just absolutely crushed everybody who had entered. And so I could see her skill set then, and just to see how it progressed over these last couple of years. So for those of you guys who don't know who she is, amazing filmmaker, amazing YouTuber, amazing person. She is now started to educate other people on how to become a better filmmaker, how to craft their own vision. But what I like is that she speaks for those who typically don't get spoken for. You know, it's not very often that you hop onto a set and you see a lot of black people, but it's not a lot of times you see a lot of black women either. And she speaks for those people as well, and trying to educate and get as many of them on set. And honestly, that's one of the things that drew me into her content and to who she is as a person. And it just goes to show that, like, she's not just skilled with the camera, but she actually is a good person as well. And so I'm really excited to bring up my good friend, Miss Brittany Janae. Let's go ahead and bring her up on the stream. Brittany.
Hey.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for the intro.
I love that smile. She always cheesing. She's always having a good time, and she's a good sport. So thank you so much for coming up today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I thought about that. I was like, man, we go back. I mean, like, that giveaway was, gosh,
it was
4 years
it was
ago,
so long ago. I feel like you were probably one of the first people that I kind of watched as I got like real consistent on YouTube. So it was actually really dope seeing a black man on the YouTube space too, because between you and YC Imaging, that was it. And so as much as you talk about me, I want to give you your props as well. Thank you for paving the way.
I just love that the space has grown. The space has grown. There's so many of us now, and I'm really excited. By the way, guys, if you don't, or if you haven't started subscribing to Brittany Janae, she actually just crossed, you hit a big milestone right before New Year's, right?
I did.
24,000, 25,000. Where you at?
24.
Almost 25. Let's get her to 25, guys. We just put her link in the chat. I want to see you guys smash that link. I know this is going to take you away from the stream for like a half a second. It's worth it. Go to her channel, subscribe, come right back, because she's going to be dropping gems, because she is one of the people I see on YouTube who I'm like, I don't know how she's posting as much as she does on Instagram and on YouTube, because she is on set all the time. Like the other day, we were talking about this show, and she's like, hey, Brandon, hold on. And she had people ask, what about this lens? What about this crew? And she's like, do this. I was like, okay, girl takes control. She put me on hold to take control of her set. And I was like, I appreciate that. I love that. So what are you working on now? What are you currently doing? How are you describing yourself right now? I know it's tough when you do YouTube, but like, how would you describe yourself to the people?
I would just say I'm a filmmaker, because I think that's all encompassing, like me being a video editor, me being a YouTuber, as well as actually being in the filmmaking, film production space. So I think it's kind of like all encompassing. I know filmmaking, the word filmmaker is now changing, but I think I can't say I'm just a DP. I can't say I'm just a cam op. I can't say I'm just a YouTuber. So I think that's the only word that's actually fit so far. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice umbrella word that you can just kind of throw over the whole thing. Now, you said video editor, and for those of you guys who don't know, I saw a tweet, and in that tweet, you had the gall to say that Premiere Pro is a better video editor than Davinci Resolve. Now, I'll be honest with you. Last week, we had Michael Tobin on the show, and we gave him a 30-minute spiel. It wasn't 30 minutes. It was like 5 minutes. But like, he went in on why Davinci Resolve, why my entire team and why the entire internet should be switching to Resolve. So I'm going to allow you to have your closing arguments on that. I'm not going to make you give it to me right now. I'll give you some time to formulate your thoughts as we move through the conversation. But just know the people do want to know why you tweeted it, because this is the Uncensored Show. We have honest conversations about the film space and video production, and so the people want to know.
Mhm.
But before then, it's 2024, and you've been crushing it every single year. And so I got to ask you, what is something that like you look at right now and you're like, what is setting filmmakers apart, whether that's on set or on YouTube or wherever else? What are the things that you are currently seeing that are like making those filmmakers who just got it and they're being successful right now? What are the things right now that people should be looking to do in 2024 as they move forward?
So I think the biggest thing is being authentic. Social media right now, everybody's trying to like play the trends and everybody's trying to go and get the followers and do all of those things. But I think as we grow in this space, we learn that authenticity is like more important, and you cannot be like somebody else. It doesn't matter if your content looks the same, anything. Like the only way that you're going to succeed is if you're authentic with yourself, because I feel like everybody's path is different. So like what I might do could be different than how somebody else does it, even if it is very similar. And so for me, that's been like really key. And I think it also helped me because I was able to separate myself from all the trends and what people are doing. And so the way that I've paved the road was not just diving into content creation, but also feeling like, where can I fill the gap? And that is also me just being able to be on these sets, but also create content to where people who do want to get to these sets, they can kind of see like this content and see like the real deal. So for me, I didn't want to do the standard content creating and just like, oh, you guys go out and shoot. And I feel like I was there before. And I felt like for me, I didn't want to go back into those years where I was there just to grow on Instagram. For me, I was like, okay, I was there when I first started, but now I've grown into being a respected filmmaker. So how can I bring that and teach that to people in a way that still is fun? So I think setting yourself apart and figuring out like what your style is, and being authentic in that.
I think the best thing that has represented that for me when it comes to your content has been your video postcards. I love your video postcards. First of all, they're just like, it just screams she knows what she's doing, right? But I love that like you even broke out of the like everything wasn't a 9:16. You're like, this doesn't need to be a 9:16. I know everybody's posting reels right now just so they can get views, clicks,
Mhm.
subscribers, whatever. But you were like, I want to one show off my city, and I want to just make something that's just beautiful. And if that means I have to break the mold, I'm willing to break the mold. So what inspired you to start your video postcard series? And like,
Mhm.
what has that been like? What has the response been like? Because I know what it's been like for me just watching from the outside, but what has it been like for you?
So I actually didn't start video postcards. I saw some people doing it, but it wasn't that big in our space.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very interested in it because I wanted to get back to storytelling. And because I am a DP and horizontal is ultimately the way to go over
Oh,
vertical,
another
I
hot
wanted to
take. She said another hot take.
I wanted to get back to horizontal. I feel like people instantly just go 9:16 without thinking about the intention behind certain things. And so for me, I might play with horizontal, I might play with 4:3, I might play with vertical, but it depends on the intention of like this concept of this video. And so with the postcards, I was at home and I hadn't been motivated in a while, crazy enough, in LA, because that's where I live now. I'm originally from St. Louis. But I went back
Mm.
home and I feel like I was reintroduced to my city because I don't go home that often. And it's actually a really beautiful city. And when I was shooting, it just didn't, 9:16 didn't do it. It didn't show the expansiveness of the frame. It didn't do it for me. And again, I went back to like when I was shooting films and like all of these things. And those video postcards came in my head. And when I was seeing people doing them, it was never like people doing them at night. It was always like, we're just going to get beautiful content. But for me, I still wanted to find a way to tell the story with the content, whether it was light or dark. I mean, you can go out and shoot in the daytime and get beautiful content all the time. But it was really me testing myself with lighting. So my first couple of shots with the video postcards, I was in a hotel for Thanksgiving. I took a day to be away from my family to create content. And I was in this hotel, and the way the light was introducing itself in this hotel was so beautiful that I was like, I gotta shoot something. And so I just started shooting. I did not know it was gonna like go the way it went.
Yeah.
And because the first time I did follow the trend, it was like Whoa Paulo or something. He did this like something something but make it cinematic. So I did that. I was like, stay in a hotel or something but make it cinematic. But then after that, I was like, yo, I want to get back. This is my way to get back into storytelling. And
Mm.
so I did that in St. Louis, and then I went to Florida like immediately after St. Louis, and I shot everything at night. And when I did that, I was like, all right, this is it. This is my steez. This is where I'm going. Like, it was just so beautiful. And I was learning composition. I was learning lighting. I was learning so much as an individual. That's when I felt like I was just kind of reintroducing myself to my creativity again. And I feel like when that happens, you kind of want to gravitate towards that. So I was like, all right, this is kind of like what I want to, start doing. And so many people have just been so just hitting me up in the DMs and just being like, yo, these postcards inspire me to just get out and shoot. It's just another form of documenting your life in a sense. These moments, they'd be like 15 or 20 seconds. And it's been inspiring other people, but it's been inspiring myself again. So I just been having a good time with them. And I try not to just go out. Like I said, I don't just go out and shoot. Like I still want to be intentional about them. I still want to like find story in them. So sometimes I might go somewhere and I might not shoot a postcard. I was just in Atlanta. I didn't shoot nothing because if I don't want to just do it. Right. So like I want it to
Right.
like make sense. So that's been like, I think that's why my postcards are different than a lot of people's postcards.
I think the thing I love most about what you said was that like doing it, you're also learning. And I feel like it's very easy in this space to like, once you get to a certain point, you've shot with all the cameras, you've done the commercials, you've been hired, you're a professional. It's very easy to fall into that, like, okay, cool. Like, I know what I'm doing now, but what you got a chance to experience through the video postcards is the opportunity to learn, refine like new sparks of inspiration, but that you're still learning as a DP. I know you say you're a filmmaker, but DP falls under that. But as a DP, you're getting a chance to kind of like scratch that itch to like practice
Mhm.
different lighting setups, work with pre-existing lighting that you have very little control over, and still find beautiful frames. So I think that's really awesome. Also, I want to give a shout out. Looks like you got some fans out in St. Louis. You got some people from St. Louis in the house. So they want to link up. They say, what high school you go to?
Yeah,
So
that's the standard joke whenever you're from St. Louis. Like people gotta know what high school you went to. But I'm a Normandy baby all the way through, up until I went to Mizzou.
I love it. Well, so we're gonna get to a game here in a little bit, and we're also gonna have to obviously you're gonna have to give your closing remarks. But before we do that, I want to ask you, when it comes to your journey as now a working professional who's also like a working professional on set, but also a working professional in the creative space, and your journey has been kind of back and forth between the two. What are some of the like things that it didn't matter if you were trying to be a professional on set or you were trying to be, make it in the YouTube and content creator space? What are like three things that you feel were like absolutely necessary in your growth and your success to get to where you are today, and that you plan on continuing so that way you can continue to progress in all these different areas?
Re-ask the question shorter. Sorry, I was trying to
So
think of everything.
no, you good. So like, what are three things right now that you feel are like staples in your, whether that's like, for me, I would say like, it's nonstop hard work, right? So
Mm.
like, what are three things for you that it didn't matter if you were trying to be a filmmaker or a content creator that you feel allowed you to get to where you are today?
So, my friend just kind of asked me because I've been in LA for 11 years, and he was like, "What are some tips that you would give me?" And I think the first one, even just being in LA, but also striving to get to where I got, the first one will always be learn to rest and pivoting. Like that's been
Mm.
huge for me. Like my 11 years here was not easy. It was hard. Like I started off as a transcriber for 3 years. If you guys don't know what that is, that's like the first step into like editing. That is the first step into, like, I'm pretty much typing out everything that's being said. I worked for Big Brother. I worked for Bad Girls Club. All of these shows, just typing every single thing that's said, every single thing that was done, so that the story producers can create the story for the shows that you see. I did that for 3 years because I couldn't even find a job in production. And then I started taking jobs on the side and making barely any money, but just still trying to like hustle and get out there. And then for me, what happened was I even got all my equipment stolen. And once I was trying to find a lens, I went on Craigslist, bought a lens from this guy who was a photographer, and it changed my life. I was like, yo, if you ever need behind the scenes, hit me up. I'm here. So for me, it was like, one, learning how to pivot with everything that I've been through. A lot of people don't know. I went to school from a zoo, but I actually got kicked out of the college of engineering. And that's
Oh,
what pivoted me to even be in film production. And at first I was like, crying and going through everything. And then my friend was like, won't you do what you like love to do? And that was the first pivot that my life ever took. And I am grateful that it happened, even though back then I wasn't, but I'm so grateful that it happened. And I just kind of rested and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I do want to. And I probably wouldn't even be here right now had I not. And so I want to say rest in your pivots and know that each pivot is going to allow you to grow. It's going to allow you to learn a new skill set. And I feel like every pivot is never to break you or change you from your path. It's always to push you towards where you're supposed to be. Because sometimes we try to like redirect ourselves or go our own route. And so I think that's what happened to me. And then the second one is like, I feel like we're all in this like hustle, I need money mentality. But what really got me to where I am is the networking and the being humble at every step. Like even now, I still sometimes be like, I want to work with my friends. I want to just make some dope content. And I feel like we forgot that. Everybody just want to
mm,
work. Everybody just want to be seen. But what got me to where I am was because when I met the dude who was selling me his lens, I was like, if you need BTS, I just want to work on my portfolio. And he called me and lo and behold, he was working with celebrity talent. So I ended up working with celebrity talent. And then he knew people and he threw my name out there. So like literally 95% of my work, like my professional work, is from word of mouth. And that is because of just like humbling yourself and networking. And then on top of that, just knowing that it's about who you are and your personality of how people are going to want to work with you. You can have the best work, but if you have the worst personality, it does not matter. And so
mm.
just being kind to people, right? So I think those are the three. So learning how to your pivots, learning how to just like network and build relationship and not just work and just try to get rich quick type thing. And then be kind. Just be kind to people. They'll remember you.
Dude, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Jarrell's just over here. I got to give him a quick camera shot because he's just over here, just nonstop nodding. He's just loving it.
Yeah, one of the things that I love about you, Brittany, is I started watching your content maybe 5-6 months ago, and I love how you just basically take us on set and how you I love your storytelling. I love how you put everything together. It's been so cool just to watch you blow up. The last thing that I watched of you is, I believe was it International Women's Day when you were filming the coach, and you were it was just so cool just to be able to go behind the set and just see that video. And so props to you. Like, been
Thank you.
loving your content.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I learned early on was like I had a lot of help. I didn't go to school for any of this, clearly. Got kicked out of college of engineering. So I had to I self-taught myself everything. And it was me reaching out to people who were already in this space and learning from them. And so who am I to gatekeep what was taught to me from people who were being nice to me and seeing that I wanted to learn something. So that's been my way of giving back to the people who actually gave to me. So I always want to like help people in that regard. So
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm in a very similar boat. Like, I didn't go to film school. I learned all this stuff the hard way. Mine was more just I just couldn't afford it. I'm not even gonna front it. It was too expensive, and I wasn't going into debt. And I was like, you know what? I'll figure this out one way or another. I'll figure it out. Start with my little Canon T2i and just keep going. I
I
was
had the
like,
Canon
eventually,
T2i too.
what up? Jarrell had it too.
We had it. We all had it.
I think everybody. That's the secret to success, guys. If you
Yeah.
don't know, You
That's
need to
it.
get a Canon T2i. It doesn't matter
It's
where you're at right now.
discontinued. It's
It's
discontinued.
eBay.
eBay it. We got to find
True.
it. I'm going to go find the stockpile of them and
Get
just
you
load them up and
get
just
you a
start giving them
50.
out.
Get you a 51.8.
50. Nifty 50.
Nifty 50.
That's what you need for success.
That's what it takes, guys. That's the truth. That's the true state.
It is.
Well, I love that you keep hustling. I love that you keep working through. So I now do need to ask you, because I know you have a hard out time and we want to respect your time today. But
I could probably do like at least to 10:15. My meeting's only at 10:30.
Okay, cool. That means I can ask another question. Cause I do. I love getting people's honest feedback and their honest like that's the whole point of this Uncensored show is really just to go like, it's uncensored. It's funny because it's spelled with an S. And that's an inside joke too, because I'm hella dyslexic. So I could have accidentally spelled it with an S and thought it was on purpose. But one of the things that I always try to get to with a lot of the guests that come on here is like, you said that you pivoted to filmmaking because of, what some would consider a tragedy, getting kicked out of a school. But like the reason why you made that pivot was because that's really what you wanted to do. And so I find that like we're very blessed to be able to chase our passions, especially once you can make it a financially sustainable career. But for you, what initially started that passion? Because, when you made that pivot, there wasn't any jobs, there wasn't any money coming in. So like, what initially started that passion for you that made you want to ultimately, say, all right, I guess it's time for me to pick up a camera?
So I've always been filmmaking has always been like a portion of who I was. So like whether I had an XD cam from Walmart, the flip phones, whatever it was, I was already going out and shooting friends and doing all those things. And I've always been the kid that like I like to sit with my family. I like to ask questions. Like documentary has always been like interesting to me because I love history of like knowing things. And so that's always been a thing for me. And when I went to Mizzou, I was working at the tech store on campus. And so I was already in the tech space. I worked there for 3 years. So I was selling Macs, selling PCs, selling your favorite iPhone cases and backpacks. And with that, I was just learning about cameras and computers. And I think the first person who made me actually get the T2i was Jacob Owens. And watching just him, like literally being at work on YouTube, just like trying to learn. And I bought the T2i student finance. And I was just shooting my friends on campus. Like when probates was happening, I was shooting. When, as much as I can, I would pull my friend over and be like, let's go downtown. You do poetry, let's shoot. And so people were really helping me in that regard. And so I was already growing before I knew that that's actually what I wanted to do. It was just something that was innate in me that I actually love to do. So it wasn't until, and then people would be like, well, Brittany liked to shoot, like, let's get her to do some stuff. So when I got kicked out and I was like, oh, because my dad was paying for college and I was like, I'm a failure, all of this stuff. Even though I hated coding, that was the whole point. I went there for my father because at that point, people might not know, but I'm 34 years old. So at that point in that generation, it was like, you need to find a job where you're financially stable. And because I liked technology, that was the closest that I felt like I was going to get. And so, but that wasn't what I wanted. I was doing it, for that. And so I guess it showed itself in my grades and I hated coding. And when my friend was like, once you do what you love to do, you like taking pictures and you like making films, and I think I always say to people, like, always have people in your corner who know you and who may know you more than yourself and who know your passions and who knows your gifts and can pull those out. Because had she not said that, I probably wouldn't really know what I would have done. I probably would have just got into business or something. But when she said that, it really sparked something in me. I literally got up. I remember the day I got up, I stopped crying, I wiped my tears, and I was like, ding. And it was one of those things where I was like, but Mizzou is not a film school. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get into communication. Because at that point, I knew I didn't want to get into journalism because I didn't want to be in front of the camera. So I was like, I'm going to get into communication. I'd already taken like Avid 101 and like certain classes that also reminded me, like I learned Final Cut on my own at school. So I went into communication and it allowed me to take a couple more classes. And then when I graduated, we instantly moved to LA.
Boom. I hope everyone's picking up all these gems because she's saying all this stuff like it just happened. But like I see the initiative. Like she was like, I want to learn, like I'm gonna go learn Final Cut on my own. Like, I'm technically at school for something else, but I'm going to do this. But then, like, not only that, but it's like when you just share that passion that you have with other people, not only do the people in your corner see it, but I think it radiates. And that's when you get like those other people on campus that are like, oh yeah, Brittany has a camera. She likes to shoot. Like, let's have her come out and do this thing. And like, it's about wearing your passion on your sleeve, literally wearing your passion on your sleeve. So that way people just know. Like, I tell people all the time, one of the best ways, if you don't know how to get a job, if you're trying to like get some work with your camera or something like that, just go to your local city, whatever city's local to you, go downtown and just walk around with your camera in your hand. People just seeing you with a camera are going to be like, oh, you shoot? Like, that's better than a business card. And so seeing that you were willing to go out there and do that, put yourself out there, especially early on, that just like, I understand more and more why you're so successful.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded all the time from people I went to college with. They're like, there would have been no other way. Like, a lot of people were like, I remember when you used to do this in the school. And I honestly, like, I got short-term memories. So I just be like, dang, I did that. But they remember all the times where I was like, I want to get into film and I want to do this. Like, they remember that. And so it's been super cool to see people who gave me the opportunity to grow when I was like fresh. And they're like, I'm so proud of the growth that I've seen from you. So.
Oh, well, I'm happy. I've only been around since the filmmaking portion, so I didn't see the before. But I can say from the filmmaking portion, from when I linked in with you, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the
Thank
growth,
you.
and I'm happy to see it. And I'm excited to see where you go, even into the future. I know we're not even halfway yet, so you're just gonna keep crushing it.
Thank you.
So speaking of filmmaking, and I know I promised everybody, and I gave you some time. Okay, we gave you your flowers. We put you up on the pedestal, but it's time. It's time for you to officially explain this tweet. Now, guys, I'm sorry. We had the effects and all that. We were going to have the tweet pop up, but I told you power went out. So I'm going to paraphrase her tweet for you guys, okay? Pretty much what she said was Davinci is trash, and that everyone who shoots on Davinci or edits in Davinci is trash. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what she said. Go follow her on Twitter to see exactly.
I was like, I probably did say that. I'm just kidding.
No, that's how she felt inside, but she made it PC for Twitter, is what she's telling us. No, so you are clearly, a Premiere girl. Like, we get it. We know you love Premiere, but the rest of the internet is torn. Now, I will say, because I know it's gonna make people mad. I still edit a lot of my stuff in Final Cut, which means I don't get a vote. I've been vetoed by the entire internet. I'm vetoed from having opinions. So I bring people on the show who use real editors to give their opinions. So, Miss Janae, I gotta ask you, why Premiere over Davinci? I'm gonna let everybody know we're gonna give her the full stage, because just like with Tobin, we're gonna give her the full stage and let her tell all the people. Look, the views just skyrocketed because everyone's like, how? Somebody answer this question. All right, Jarrell, give her the full stage. Let us know.
Okay, so here's the thing. I really just be pushing y'all on Twitter because sometimes y'all just be doing too much. But I started off as a video editor. So I've been in Avid. Avid was the first thing I've learned. And then we went to Premiere. I've done the Final Cut. I've even been in Davinci. I've edited in Davinci. I tried them all as much as I can. Only one I really hate is iMovie and a little bit of Final Cut. I started off in Final Cut 7. So like that should let you know that I know a little bit about video editing. Like Final Cut 7 before Premiere, all these production companies was using Final Cut 7 and Avid, right? So when I feel like Davinci is a trend. And I don't say that because it's not good. It's a very good NLE. But the only reason why I feel like people are really on it heavy is because it's a trend. Yes.
Oh.
And I say that because I feel like, no, you said you gave me the stage. Let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I say it's a trend because I feel like had it not blew up on YouTube, and like when you think about the definition of a trend, had it not blew up on YouTube, people wouldn't have even known about it. Right. So like to me, Premiere has always been here. Davinci probably always been here, but people didn't even start getting into it until everybody was like, you need to get on Davinci. You need to get on Davinci. You need to get on Davinci. And it's just like, what was happening before Davinci? We was still coloring and still editing and all these other NLEs. And they were good before you even found out about Davinci. And now you hate Premiere and you hate Final Cut and all of this. So to me, I don't even dislike Davinci. Again, I color in Davinci and I use Davinci and I'm learning Davinci, but I don't think it's just this super grand NLE system that everybody should get. One of the reasons is also because I feel like as people who try to help others, like filmmakers who try to help others, it should never be your goal to just say you should get Davinci. You should figure out what people actually want to do when it comes to the filmmaking space. That's the best teacher that you could have. I would never just throw, you should get Premiere. I would be like, well, what kind of things do you like to edit? What do you want to be a colorist? Not everybody want to be a colorist. So why are you throwing Davinci, which is mainly a coloring NLE, on people? Not everybody wants to do that. So to me, it's about which is the most user-friendly, which I am a video editor, and when I'm working with other people, they primarily use or know of Premiere. And if that is the case, how can I make it easy for this whole ecosystem and this whole streamline like process? So it's more user friendly. It's more well known in the production space, and not everybody want to be a colorist. Like these are my biggest three things. Is and not even that. I do love the ecosystem of Premiere. I love being able to right click and open up in Photoshop. I love being able to right click and open up in After Effects or Audition or all of these different things. And to me, a lot of people was like, well, it costs. Okay, we business people, write it off on your taxes. Like, I don't understand. I never understand the argument, I guess, with people. It's like, well, it costs and you pay one price. Well, I need business expenses anyway. So let me just go ahead and add that to my business expense.
Less
So to
taxes.
me,
She said I need a
it's,
write-off.
I need
less
a write off
taxes.
anyway. So to
She
me,
need a
it's
write-off.
just, it's like, what is the true argument? I guess that's why I be so for Premiere, because it's like, what is the true argument? And here's the thing. I know Premiere got bugs. I've witnessed it before. I haven't witnessed it in a minute recently, but I think that I can talk to the people in Adobe. I can voice my concerns. I let them know what the issues are, and I see how they're really trying to appeal to professional editors and how they're always trying to grow and bridge the gap between content creators and professional editors. Even with essential graphics, there are things where you can just pull out. It's kind of trying to be a little similar to Final Cut in the user-friendly space, where you go to essential graphics and you can just bring down some graphics to where you don't have to start from scratch. Like, there's things that people don't even know about. They just be, this person got me on Davinci, I'm gonna get you on Davinci. But like, there's no real case with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if none of this makes sense, but
No, I understand what you're saying. And like, what I love about what you're saying is it's like, you got to pick the tool that's right for you. And that doesn't mean that it has to be Davinci.
exactly, that's all it's about. And like, people just be like, every time I post something, like, I kid you not, this is why I troll. And I'm not a troller, but I troll on Twitter because every time I post something about Premiere, people, like, I'll post a beautiful image that I colored in Premiere, and people be like, oh my God, the color, what did you edit on? And the minute I say Premiere, they're like, oh, what makes it different if I colored in DaVinci? If it's a beautiful image and I was able to color it nicely, why does it matter? So like, that's the thing that like bothers me. It's just like, and then they be like, oh, well, you need to go in DaVinci, but you just said that you like to, like, I don't understand. Like,
It's all right. It's all right. Look, that's the one thing I think I like about this show and the audience that we have. We're fairly open-minded. Now, granted, Marcus felt it was needed to drop $10 to just say that he loves DaVinci Resolve, but Premiere editing features do beat Resolve. So, you know, but he was able to spend that $10 this month because he didn't have to pay a monthly fee for Adobe. So maybe that's
Hey.
But you gonna pay $10 for Starbucks?
Nah,
So I mean, I guess my logic is, people are always like, well, I could put that money elsewhere, but you waste money on a daily on other stuff. At least waste money on the stuff that you absolutely need for your business, right? So like, I go and buy Starbucks every day. Well, I used to go buy Starbucks every day. That money could go towards Adobe Premiere. Like, to me, like, I do think that if you want to be a colorist, DaVinci is the way to go. But I also think that we've gotten to a space, because YouTubers do it all, we're teaching that everybody should do it all. And I also don't think that's the best way to teach. Not everybody wants to color. Not everybody wants to do these things. Some people just genuinely like want to edit, or genuinely just want to get out content. And with that, what's the best tool for that? And so to me, I think Premiere, for its overall workflow, it does provide a little bit more than like somebody who may not want to be as professional when it comes to DaVinci. that's like you said, it's what's the best tool for the job.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. You came with it. You came with it and you were unapologetic. That's what we love. That's what we need here.
They gonna fight me, but it's
It's
okay.
uncensored. Let's go. That's what we do, Jarrell. I told you. I love it. Thank you. That's literally all I can say. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming up here. Thanks for having fun with me. Thanks for dealing with Jarrell and his silly games. Like, just thank you so much for coming out and just continuing to inspire people that are coming up. Guys, again, somebody please, Mr. Camera Junkie, Travis, Jarrell, whoever, somebody put a link to her channel in the chat so you guys can go subscribe to her channel. Trust me, it's a treasure trove of knowledge. And it's absolutely worth your time. You're going to learn so much. You're going to be able to go with her on set. A lot of the stuff that I know you guys wanted to talk about, like about her journey and what it's like on set and that kind of stuff, she's already made videos about it. So today we want to have fun and just have a great conversation. I want to get a chance to know her a little bit better. But if you guys want to go on set with her, she's got full videos on it. So you can learn so much from that. So go binge all of her content after the stream today. But Brittany, I know you got somewhere else to be. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. It has been a pleasure to have you on.
Yes, I had a lot of fun. And just to know, I've been trying to like hang out with Brandon and Marcus in Texas, and they just be dissing me. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me here today. So
you
thank
be
you
going
so
all the way
much
up to Dallas
for everybody.
You be
That's
going
just
to Dallas and be like, "Hey, I'll be in Dallas in like 3 days." Like that's just like two minutes up the road for us. Texas is huge.
I'm just saying.
She coming with the fire. Marcus, see, you voted for her. You see that? I'm pointing at the chat right now on the TV. Marcus, you voted for her, and she gonna throw us under that Greyhound bus that I was the one that
I want to shout out Brandon and Marcus though for being in my YouTube video with the cameras. Like I appreciate y'all. I feel like y'all have supported me so much with my YouTube, so I definitely appreciate that.
Well, we love you, and we want to just see you continue to grow and see you just keep crushing it. But thank you so much for coming on. I won't hold you any longer. Thank you so much. Guys, we got a few more things that we're going to hop into. But real quick, everybody say thank you so much to Brittany for coming on. Love you. Love you so much. I'll catch up with you later.
Yes. Bye.